There can be no triumph without loss, no victory without suffering, no freedom without sacrifice. Fairly sure that's how the boys feel about these films. But at number 18, we're completing the Lord of the Rings trilogy with Return of the King. Welcome to Long Play Video. So here we are, down to the shop. Number 18 on the list. We've blown the horn of Helm Hammerand. We've lit the beacons of Gondor. We've got everyone back together. The Fellowship, which only apparently lasted for 10 minutes anyway, is back. As we do number 18, Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. Wow. Welcome back, Woody, Freddie, and Rob. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
I feel like the end, the Lord of the Rings energy hasn't come through quite yet.
This is just the walking bit. We're all just relaxing. We'll wait for that will come later.
Would be. No, you guys go on. I'll catch you up. I'm just going to have a little snooze here under the apple tree.
Well, will we all survive? The podcast, the film. I mean,
we all survive.
You always keep on going. Like Lord of the Rings, you just carry on walking.
Yeah. If in doubt, walk.
Yeah. Everyone will be wiped out by the end. So here are the 2 films in, 1 film and 27 hours of our lives still to go.
That is one of the questions I wanted to ask you straight off the bat was, before we start and get everyone's views, how long is this film?
Well, I think technically it was 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but then the extended is over 4, I think maybe.
Yeah, so we've got the theatrical cut, which is 50 minutes longer than the one in the cinema. And we haven't decided which one we're going to do.
That's the one we're reviewing, so you have to do that one. No interval. No talking to each other.
Next pod's in 2 episodes, is it? Just to split it in the same way. We've got a interval to go and get your ice cream.
I get the feeling that Freddie and Woody was still to speak rubbish, but just longer. It's just...
Is there a cut of it that's just 7 seconds long? That's what they were asking.
And I just watch it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Can you do the dance version of this film? Definitely the longest movie that I ever saw at a cinema at the time. I don't think it was ever a thing that you could go that a film could be 3.5 hours long at the cinema. Nowadays it feels
some special films though, Andy, so there's every chance.
Yeah, but not at the cinema. Yeah, not at the cinema. I don't think. Definitely this would have been the longest film that I'd ever seen in the cinema at the time.
Yeah. Did you bring a cushion?
Well, we were in premium. We were in premium seats. So.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! The luxury that comes out on this podcast, honestly.
This was class you was in.
Yeah. All of these flights now are tax deductible, Rob. Like, he puts them towards the podcast. It's like, no. That's part of the pod.
It was Tiffany. We need to go on holiday, and we need to go somewhere that's 4 hours, 40 minutes away.
Well, finally, I did just see a video where someone has the row of seats on a plane, and so they start each of the Lord of the Rings on all of the screens, and then just watch them all currently. So that's maybe a better way to do it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Woody and Freddie, tell us what's happened so far. Then give us a brief synopsis of Lord of the Rings up until this point, as far as you can remember from the other 2 films.
They walked, and then they walked some more, and then there was a king, and he wasn't very well, and then he was fine, and then there was a big war, and that all took about 8 hours to be told in story form.
That's nice. Anything additional you remember, Woody?
No. Gollum's leading them somewhere. That's about it.
Yeah, we had a discussion.
That's been a helpful recap. I don't remember anything. Really useful.
Last time when we talked about it recently, Woody was like, "Oh, and they were on that big hill, and they got grabbed by those guys." And I was like, "What? What happened?" Couldn't remember for the life of me. I remember those trees as well.
Trees.
Awful
Yeah.
trees.
Is this the one with the dragon, or is that the other one?
What did happen at the end of the second one? That was Helm's Deep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they ride out. I think Isengard's. They get Saruman. The Ents go into Isengard. So
Yeah. Okay.
Saruman. Yeah. I remember the conversation about making Saruman and Sauron confusing Kev. So Saruman's sort of been defeated, and Frodo and Sam and Gollum have just left Faramir. I think that's on the extended version. So he is leading them into Gondor, but he is also a baddie. His nice part, the nice part of his personality is now finished. If you remember, he's talking to himself.
He had that, yes, I remember that now.
And she's going to get him.
Gollum's nice side.
Yeah.
Rather than
God.
Frodo's.
Yes,
he has such
If
an evil
someone can
side.
send me a TikTok video on it, that would be great. So I can just recap before I watch this one.
Yeah. So
And thoughts? What's this one going to be like? Sell it into William Freddie. I mean, obviously, me and Rob remember it, so that's fun.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds like you really remember it. Well, so this is the culmination of everything. 11 Oscars for a start. This leads the way on. Well, you give all the Oscars to the last film, and you don't give them any Oscars along the way. Tied with two other films for the most Oscars ever. Pop quiz. What are the other two films?
Avatar,
Hudson Hawk,
Titanic is one of them. Hudson Hawk.
Beekeeper.
I mean, there's going to be a stunts category, so maybe the Beekeeper will be in there.
It's nice. It's going to be something rubbish, isn't it?
an old one, Gone with the Wind or something.
Yeah, it is an old one.
Oh,
Is it on your list, and?
No.
Oh, so it's probably quite a good one then.
Oh, okay. So we can go for the famous ones. Nice.
It's Ben-Hur.
Whatever.
Another long one.
Yeah. Well, remember that for the next movie quiz in February. They always love an Oscars an Oscars question. We've asked before each time, Woody and Freddie, what you were looking forward to. Has it been too long in between, or is this just it feels like you're being tortured in?
I'm just hopeful that this one will be incredible because it's the one that supposedly, as you say, wraps it all up. So it should hopefully feel really enjoyable. However, from past experience, I'm not so hopeful.
I'd maybe leave the last 30 minutes. That's probably not needed to watch.
We time it, when we watch it, we time it because Fred starts off, he's always got his notepad and his pen, and we time how long he's got that in his hand before he puts it down and gets his phone out.
To take more detailed notes.
Yeah, and then Woods just goes to his phone straight away. And Uncle Andrew's making me watch another film.
The opening's just too long. It's not my fault.
Old Esther Ransom's not interested when he phones. Oh, we know what he's like.
We haven't converted you into Lord of the Rings fans. It's clear that it's been a bit of a struggle.
Bad. This is boring.
And long. I mean, you should be grateful we didn't watch The Hobbit. I mean, that is bad. That's like terrible.
I like the Hobbit film.
They've all seen The Hobbit. It's the world building though. We're not appreciating the world building. You guys were into your.
No, because they're walking through the world. That's not any fun.
It's just trees.
They haven't invented cars. So.
There's like a 20-minute segment in the last film of trees slowly speaking to each other.
Oh my god! You wait until the end of this film, you'll be like, I can't believe that. You just there's something specifically that happens at the end of this film where I'm just like, feel like that could have been handy at the start of the film, and it might have meant it would have only been about half an hour long.
One of my memories of it is that, it comes to the end, you think, right, that's it, it's done. And then there's another bit, and you're like, all right, that's got to be done now. And then there's another bit, and like every time you've got your coat, you put your shoes back on in the cinema, right? We can go, oh no, I've got to sit here for another 10 minutes.
Well, I think definitely... because Kevin, Rob, you said that this wasn't your favorite one. You said the second one was actually your favorite one. Is it because of the endings? Because obviously multiple endings.
I think
is that
for me, I think so. Like it goes on way too long at the end. They like overplay it. Like they're all like high-fiving every single person in New Zealand, and I was like, "Hey, you guys did a great job. You're going to win some Oscars. Like, let's finish this film off and move on." It's a bit too gratuitous, I think, at the end. It's all like self-indulgent. But yeah, the second one I think is better. The second one's a nice pace, and I think the third one's a good pace until the very end, from memory. And like I said, that last 30 minutes or so, like you're saying, Rob, I feel like that isn't necessarily needed. But, now it's got extended to over 4 hours. There's probably loads of it that's not needed. So that's going to be even more enjoyable.
Maybe, the ratio changes. Maybe if they put more exciting stuff on at the beginning, maybe the ending doesn't seem so bad because it's been, it seems less.
It's going to be the fifth element factor, isn't it? We'll have to see. Does that come into play? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's
well, what about you then, Andy? Is this your favourite of the three?
The list would indicate so.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm glad someone's paying attention.
I would say this is probably 15 films more my favourite than the last one.
I feel like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. So like a lot of this is just like leaves my brain as soon as we've done them. So
most films seem to leave your brain as soon as you watch them. To be fair, so
that is true. That is true. It's such a delight again to watch them again, not know anything about them.
You can just keep rewatching them. I think this has 3 or 4 of the set pieces. I think are the best ones out of everything. I think Gondor is probably the best setting out of in all of the films. I do think that's really good, and like all of sort of the battle scenes there. No spoilers. I keep getting told off for having spoilers in the first half. But yeah, and I think I think it does it pulls it all together. I do like, but there's not. The ending it goes on a bit, but funnily enough, in the books, I think the books, the endings are even more. To be honest with you, I think in the last book, you're probably a third of the way through before what you think is the end of the action is sort of happens, and then 2/3 of the book is actually like tying everything else off.
That's annoying.
It's like one of your stories then, man.
Is this going to be the comparison to the pod? Is actually the top 10 is going to be a real letdown?
We thought it could have ended 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, should have ended on number 80. Quit while you're ahead. Yeah.
We just haven't done better since Free Jack. I think it's it is just also the culmination of everything. It'll be interesting to watch, although I've seen it lots of times since, obviously, including watching all 3. I presume the reason that Freddie and Woody don't like it so much is they haven't watched them all within the same day. I think the gap in between the films have just been a bit too much. So maybe we do a bonus pod where we just record in real time, watching watching
the
all 3 in a day.
Of 2 human beings. Yeah.
Oh, you'd struggle, wouldn't you? Woods, just sitting on the sofa all day watching TV for 14 hours.
Watching that trash, yeah, I would.
Wow. That scandal, that shade being thrown around. Oh.
Has it come up for you two in sort of pop culture recently, Woods, Freds? Is there sort of like any other films that reference this? So you thought, oh, now I know, I get the reference now.
The Hobbit makes a couple of slight mentions, but
when have you watched The Hobbit recently?
Starting to die. I thought I always wondered why Legolas was in there. It just seems a bit of a weird character. Oh, it's because he's from Lord of the Rings.
Man, yeah. Is he more annoying in this one? I can't remember.
More in comparison to what?
The other 2 films.
No. He's way better, but he's annoying in The Hobbit. So
Yeah. He's a little bit annoying in the second one when he was counting his death count. That was a little bit annoying.
Yeah, we weren't sure that they were keeping count right, were we? They felt like there was some cheating involved.
they actually only killed
Definitely.
50 people, and there was like 10,000 orcs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, Woody and Freddie, do you remember most of the characters, and which is your favourite so far? I'm keen to see if after this film finishes, that's still going to be the same.
I reckon they can't name more than 3.
I think I can.
Or challenge accepted.
he's got his notebook out.
Yeah. I think Aragorn, the warrior, is probably still my favorite just because he's a token cool guy.
Yeah.
I know Gimli, the dwarf, was funny.
Yeah.
Frodo pisses me off because he's just a wet blanket. Samwise, there's 4.
There we go.
Is actually decent, although still almost drowned in a puddle of water, which
He is like 3 foot tall. You gotta hand it to him.
and then there's Legolas, who is he's fine. Gandalf has been in movie 1.
This is great. You guys are recapping it all for me. I've remembered so much now.
And Gollum actually I find interesting. He's actually I'm intrigued by his story. And Sauron's around, but he hasn't really done much.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Gollum in this one. Now he goes full bad. I can't remember what he's like, but that's going to be interesting to see how that comes across. How many years was this before the first one, Andy? Do you know?
Yeah, it was 3 years. There was like,
Okay.
sort of, they're back to back, like one
won't have
year
been
after
much.
the other.
So not much change, I guess, in terms of the special effects and stuff. I mean, obviously they're very good, really good for their time. But I guess we probably won't notice any sizable difference between the second and third films.
No, because they were making them all sort of concurrently. So like I mean, they were discovering, inventing a lot of the technology that they were using. But it'll be exactly the same.
Is there going to be any more scenes of like Legolas getting on that horse? The CGI that happens.
I think there's maybe 1 or 2 bits that still are just. I think there's two bits in particular that just again were a little bit wonky. I mean, none of it is as bad as Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan hugs that guy in his arm. It suddenly is 4 times as big as it is normally. But there's at least 2 bits where you're a bit like, that doesn't look quite right.
And so you guys are all going to watch it together to pretty much like now, straight away.
Yeah,
in the shop with us.
Of course. I've just got to step out, but I'll catch it again. I'll just come in for the last 30. That'll be fine. I'll have a lot to say about that. That's going to be good. Are you guys looking forward to it? Is it like a perfect day to... No. This is just a chore and it's ruined my Saturday.
Yeah.
Andy, you just bring people together in a way that no one else does.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it's got as bad a rap as it has. It's it'll be interesting. Like at the end of it, just to see.
It's meant to be like an amazing like trilogy. Like I've got a friend at work. He's got a tattoo of it. He's like, wow. Oh yes, the best film series. It's trash. It's just not entertaining as I thought it would be.
Yeah. I would love to hear your arguments at work. What's his argument back? Is he? Well, you don't understand because actually Gandalf is one of the immortals that came down in the first Evening Star.
He explains. He says like, oh yeah, there's still like you got to meet the other wizards. You got to read the books. I'm not doing this.
I mean,
I can't enjoy the films with just the films. Then it's not that good.
It's one of those things, isn't it? I think at the time it was so groundbreaking and it's such a different point in time where this was incredible and, you still had big, giant, big movies that everyone would go to the cinema to watch and you'd all talk about them at work or whatever. So I think it was such a spectacle and the same like with the original Star Wars films, like you watch them back now and you're like, oh, I don't know. But at the time, obviously, it was like incredibly groundbreaking. So I feel like now they're just too slow, aren't they? Like I just think we're so indoctrinated to a faster paced moving, and obviously better graphics and things of films now. So I think maybe that doesn't help. Whereas we would always came into those films like thinking this is going to be great, and so we're already at this really high level, and we just get brought down a bit. Whereas, I guess Freddie and Woody covered it and thinking, not sure this is going to be great, and then it's like, well, it feels worse than not great.
I will say, I won't say Woody's using the word trash. I would just say disappointing.
Yeah,
I'm not a hater. I'm just
The irony thing, Kev, like as you say, sort of the world building for this. They'll both sit there for 6 hours building a world in Minecraft, and then they diss Lord of the Rings.
Well, maybe we should do a podcast on that. We'll see what your worlds look like, and Andy, you can take a critical view of those.
Trash.
This where are all of the round shapes? I don't get it. This is too blocky for me. But I mean, the comparison obviously is with Marvel as well, because you guys like the Marvel movies. That sort of is the world building and the universe building. Do you think when you're sat down with your next generation saying, oh no, look, he's going to click his fingers, they're going to be like, boy.
Well, no, because they would have watched the 22 films beforehand to build up to that immense moment.
Yeah. And do you think they'll just be like, oh no, it's just too many films? Why don't they just get to the chase?
No, because maybe because some of the Marvel films are rubbish, actually.
This is the thing. These are long films, but there's only 3 of them. It's not like we've gone right. Okay, now we're going to watch Thor 2. Actually, nothing happens in it, but the post-credit scenes sets up the next one.
I mean, that's what the first film felt like, to be honest. They get together, they break up.
Yeah.
Is this responsible for the Marvel Universe? Like, is this the first thing where you like had an elongated series over like massive films, and someone thought, oh yeah, I think we could maybe do this, but longer and earn more money? Maybe
it's a push, but
yeah. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. I'll type it into the Wikipedia page so that it's officially true.
They do
reference. I mean, obviously, it started with Star Wars, right? But I do think this. I mean, this does prove it. Kind of after Star Wars, nothing else really managed it from a film point of view. I mean, obviously, apart from the Die Hard universe. But like nothing like, you didn't have anything that was the equivalent. And I do think people almost thought that Star Wars was a one-off to a certain extent, and you couldn't do it. And obviously, this has the books, and it's been around for like 80 years as of now. But again, that world building and the ability to actually create something that's completely sort of otherworldly. For sure.
Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes was sort of like the originals were before Star Wars.
Yeah, but that's a kind of a 1 or 2 off. It's not like it's we're revisiting the universe of Planet of the Apes. What's gonna happen now? It's even set on Earth. Spoilers for people if you haven't watched the original.
What?
So it's not like it's sort of completely creating somewhere where cars haven't been invented. You have to walk everywhere.
Fair enough.
Just not commit. I'm surprised that there's not with the world building and stuff. I'm surprised that it just hasn't piqued your curiosity at all. But you haven't.
I mean, the world building is good. It just takes too long to do. Because
God,
I enjoy all the different states.
Is it good? I couldn't name any of the places that we've been to.
Yeah, because they're just random letters, but it's good.
Rivendell, where they go for the council, like the.
No, I can remember the mines because there was a fight scene there, and I can remember the Helm's Deep because there was a fight scene there, and that's about it.
They do have terrible names. That doesn't help.
It's gonna be a fun afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
you guys. Maybe, Rob. Maybe you should just film it on the side.
Okay.
We'll add some choice quotes into the part 2.
Sitting with them for 4 hours whinging. Oh,
Yeah.
on my day off.
Well, just remember we expect a nice long episode after we've watched it. So yeah, we're not. Yeah, when we say one word reaction, you can't just say it and then that's the end of the second half.
Drop the mic.
Sounds like we'll be watching the film when we record that part. So I'll be like, right, I've just seen the high five number 476.
Maybe we can set up some YouTube clips, and we can walk through some of the pivotal scenes in the movie. Wow, I mean,
have to rewatch it again. In clips.
I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it, but it seems like we should get it on just to put the boys out of their misery. To be honest with you, so.
I think that weirdly you're the only one looking forward to this, Andy, because Rob's going to have a terrible experience. I want to try and remember something for 4 hours, and Freddie and Woody want to shoot themselves in the face. Like it's not going to be enjoyable.
I feel like I'll come out the other side and it'll be like my life is so much clearer. I have goals again. I have time back in my life.
I'm back.
I remember when we started the first one, I was like, "Oh, I can't believe you haven't watched these," and you two were like, "Yeah, no, it's really bad. We really should have watched these." And now you're like, "Oh, thank goodness we haven't watched these."
Well, let's get it on.
Yeah, let's get over with. We'll see you after the jump.
My one-word answer is great.
Oh, wow. Shocking. You really
See
went
that coming.
Well, but Woody's underwhelming.
Underwhelming. Well, that was what was yours in the first half? Yours was
Trash.
So I feel like we've moved up from trash to underwhelming. Tell us how could you have been more whelmed?
Well, like it's meant to be. Well, it's the best film out of the 3, which is meant to be.
Yeah,
which is meant to be one of the best trilogies out there.
Yeah,
and it just didn't feel like that.
Oh.
It was just.
Name 2 trilogies that are better. No.
Souls 1 and 2.
Empire Strikes Back. Rubbish. What are you talking about? Oh wow! Did you think it was the best one out of the 3?
Yeah, it was the best out of the 3, but it was still. It didn't live up to the expectations that I had
less
for it.
Walking. I noticed that they sort of there's a bit more horse riding, but they don't show as much of it.
There was less people walking. Sam did a lot of the walking, and Frodo got carried half the way. Then decided, actually, no, my legs do work, and I'm gonna run the rest of the volcano.
It was an emotional time.
What did you guys think about the fact the eagles picked them up at the end, and they probably could have just dropped them off at the volcano?
Now, see, I know why, because like if they use the eagles, and Sauron would have seen them coming to the Star Wars. So you can't use the birds.
See, Kev, you were just trying.
I've done
to
some
find the
research.
loopholes,
So that's why the big fight outside the gate is, because it
draws away
diverts the eye.
distraction.
Yeah, and then the eye.
It's not an all-seeing eye, is it?
Well, it saw them, but decided it wasn't bothered.
No, because Aragorn, because the king, the person who killed him basically last time.
Yeah, but he also knows that hobbit just still has the ring.
Why didn't?
Does he know?
No, I don't think it's under his shirt. So
the classic.
It doesn't see the ring. It's just it was the weight of the ring. I did think this time, like, because his neck's all
heavier.
I was going to ask about that. It was in the notes.
That was cool.
Why?
Yeah, because
why
it is.
Oh yeah, because it can.
Because it doesn't want to.
It can change
to die,
shape
essentially.
and it can be different weights and stuff.
No.
So
I
that's-
think if they did it again, they would probably try and morph him more towards Gollum as sort of like the journey went on.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, but I think that's really effective though. In the first 10 minutes, the sort of seeing Gollum descend, I think is because then you get the sense of, oh, this is what could happen to Frodo if he keeps the ring. And I did think that. I think with maybe the first time that I watched it, because you're kind of like, okay, we just want to get to the action. Then I didn't just skipped over it. But I do think it is sort of good showing okay, well, Gollum was like Frodo, and then because of the ring, that's where he goes. And then they kind of go straight into Frodo then, like, having the ring and not wanting to give it up and stuff. So it does show, that's where you would end up if you kept the ring, which is obviously what he's gonna.
I heard that in the book. Apparently, Frodo has the ring for like 17 years before the journey. Like when he's given the ring by Gandalf, there's then a big time skip before he actually goes on the journey.
Yeah, I think.
He's so lazy.
Yeah.
Well, because they're trying to find Gollum, Aragorn and Gandalf are trying to find Gollum while Frodo has the ring, but he doesn't use it or anything. It's just in Bag End, because it's when Bilbo leaves. So it's not like he's using it all the time.
Nah.
It's just
like, how many less orcs would have been around?
Well, funnily enough, I think we will be seeing either a movie or a TV series of
orcs.
Trying to find Gollum. I think the next slated thing is Aragorn and Gandalf, like the hunt for Gollum. I think is actually that.
Why
Is it the same actors?
I think they were going for it.
Because you got to find Gollum. Because
Oh.
he's going to be after Frodo. It's a danger to Frodo, so you got to find Gollum.
They try and find him to stop people knowing that Frodo has the ring.
So you mean that Gollum knows where the ring is, but Saruman doesn't know where the ring is?
Yeah, because he lost the ring to Gollum.
Sauron.
Give or take.
Let's get the right confusing name for a villain. No, because in the second one, or maybe the first one, they say that the enemy captures Gollum and that he tells them where it is. Remember, and you sort of see him.
We're talking about the third movie. I don't remember these other two.
Yeah. It's important that we go through the 2,000 years of Lord of the Rings lore before we go.
That's 15 hours ago.
Are you doing a separate podcast on that? Just the readings of the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that will go on a little bit longer. That will be season 7. We just go through Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that will be like, what's that new? Is it ASMR? Like when that would just send everyone to sleep.
I can do that here.
Or that 100-year film or whatever someone's doing at the moment.
Yeah. What did you have for your?
Oh, welcome back.
One word. Join us.
Yeah.
Join us at the fellowship.
Circular.
Nostalgic. Yeah. And I will put some colour on that when we come to the relevant question in the pod.
Didn't you almost fall asleep like 3 hours in?
Well, obviously, because
I saw he was nodding off. I had to give him a nudge.
I do that on a half-hour Simpsons episode, let alone 4.5 hours of Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
And what about you, Kev? Then did you have one word, or what did you think on the rewatch?
Grand but slow. So I think when I look back on it and you look at the battles, they're actually hugely impressive for the time.
Yeah.
And I think, when you look at now, like Avengers, I think like Avengers has taken so much from these epic battles, Lord of the Rings. Like the technology wasn't that advanced then. For them to replicate, so it looked like there were loads of orcs or loads of humans or loads of horses, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, and the battle scenes really go on for like 2 or 3 phases. They're like very long. Unfortunately, the bits with Frodo are still horrifically terrible and not needed.
Yeah,
so that's the summation for me.
Yeah, it slows down so much, doesn't it? When they are in there. But I do, the battle. Everything I think in Minas Tirith is just awesome. I think like the set and the sort of the city itself, and then the battle, especially when the horses arrive, is just amazing when you sort of see them come down. I do think that's on a level that you just don't see in many films, and I do think that's
especially at that time. You just didn't have that grand, like now it's just taken for granted. Like I think is it Sauron who falls off the tower and the camera follows him down and then pans away? that's just like something you just expect in movies now. But at that time, that was like groundbreaking.
Yeah, well, I think when every time when someone lands on the water wheel, and did it this time as well, you're just like, ooh, it's so like, ooh,
ouch.
That's he's come on, get up, shake it off, walk it off. Yeah, no, it does, yeah, and I think it's the same. They sort of do the same trick, don't they, with Denethor and Minas Tirith as well, when he sort of falls when he's on fire, and just to get it. I think
talk about how far he ran to be able to jump off that building on fire? He ran incredibly far.
He was motivated
just to jump off the building.
Can we ask why A, he both killed himself, and B, why there's even why is it built like that? It is built for someone to fall off there.
So, that's the helicopter pad. That's where. That's where the
so many of those.
Where's health and safety?
Yeah,
there should be a fence or something there, but that's why the guards are there usually, to keep the tourists away.
And the green outside, they're not allowed to play football on there because it's a nightmare getting the ball back.
The amount of footballs they've lost over the side of it. Yeah, no, it's a fair point that he does run quite far.
What about you then, Andy?
I think it's really good. I think actually the pacing really does hold up for me, to be honest with you. Like
one word.
Yeah. How are we going to pray see that down?
These bits I sleep through. These bits.
Usually just you skip once I've done the one word. No, I think it's good because that's the thing, because they do the sort of the ending with Saruman.
Which ending?
Well, we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
But they do they tie up the loose ends with Saruman. I think that is really good. I do think it's funny in that when obviously Gandalf and Saruman are sort of arguing back and forth at each other, and then he's like, "Oh, you think a ranger will be king?" And Aragorn just has a look on his face, just like, "Why you bring me into this? You guys, you guys just go on." And then I think sort of building up, obviously, when they go back to Rohan and with the Palantir and the separation of Merry and Pippin, I think is good. So then you kind of have the three or four different narratives going on. And yes, obviously the Frodo and Sam one, as the first time I read the book, where I was just like, I might just skip the bits with Frodo and Sam because they're really not very interesting. That is a bit slower, but then you have Gollum then obviously sort of betraying him and sort of trying to sort of get rid of Sam and stuff. I mean the bit where he says about his sneaking, and he just looks so indignant to have been accused of it, I think is still quite funny. And then there's the Shelob bit's fine. There's just that's got some action bits, and then when he goes to save him and all the orcs are fighting, that's fine. It's just I think they're on Mount Doom for a while, but again that it's like how it all comes together is the fact that it is such a small chance of success, and it is about they don't have a lot of hope, and they just everything kind of has to happen in order for them to actually get there. And actually, if Gollum hadn't have attacked them again, would they have actually made it? Because they're just so tired that they're just sort of lying.
They wouldn't have made
lying down. Well, yeah, but that's the thing.
Tearing up.
So it all comes together, and I think that's.
Are you describing Avengers Endgame?
Well, if he doesn't get the jewels, it's fine. No, but that's the thing, and that's what the book I think does a little bit better. That there's so many improbable things that have to happen in order for it to work, and it is almost like the hopelessness of the situation, because they are facing odds that are so far against them. And obviously there's very obvious parallels to the Second World War when Tolkien was kind of writing it, but it's even in the book they go a little bit more, even because with Merry kind of stabbing the Witch King, it's only because he has a knife that he was given by Cate Blanchett in the Elves, and it's only that type of blade that can harm one of the kings. So there's all these
surely though, that guy's been around for ages, he's doing fine, and he just goes, in the middle of this battle, I'm not going to check behind me, Oh, stabbed by a hobbit.
Well, funnily enough, I do think the Nazgul gets killed quite easily with that neck.
Yeah, ridiculously so.
She's just like, just going to cut your neck off. And he's like, oh, no one's ever thought of that with me.
Unbeatable beast.
Yeah, me with my really
Yeah.
long neck. I never really thought that someone could just get in and cut off my head. But that's but like, and then obviously like, yeah, and then they overplay it a bit with no man will kill me, and for the first time in
That was a cool scene.
in Middle Earth there's a woman on the battlefield, and he's like, yeah, damn it. So I do think it all comes together, and it is about that kind of one in a million chance, and I do think that they do that really well, even with kind of the Riders of Rohan coming in, and then obviously the Oliphants coming in. Again, I'm no military commander, but I'm not sure when he's like, form ranks, let's go at them head on. I was a bit like, probably just wait for them to go past you and then just sneak up from behind, I would think is actually the military tactic. But again, with that, like, then they weren't going to win if Aragorn hadn't have got the army of the dead. They wouldn't have actually won. And so I think that's what they do, is just all that improbable, even, and then going in, as you say, to the last battle is just the distraction, and they think they're just going to go there and kind of sacrifice themselves, because actually they can't win. There's a lot more of them than there are of the men of Gondor, and yet they still it all comes together, and I do think that's what works really well.
Can I ask you a question, Andy?
Yeah.
Did you watch this by yourself?
No, I watched it with Tiff. Tiff loves this film.
I'm concerned because you have just reiterated the entire film.
Yeah, we've kind of finished, haven't we? We've said everything he's said.
Well, what's next? What's next week?
All of that out.
Why did I have to watch the film? I could have just come here and you'd have told me what happened.
But those are the bits that I liked. Everything, basically, I still liked everything. I thought this was awesome. For the first time, I got to the end of it, and I was like, "Do you need the first two films? Actually, could you just watch this film?" I think you.
Do you need any of the film?
I don't think there's a. I think it's still. Name. Are you going to say that the Avengers films are better than this film?
Well, they had less of a chance.
I mean, it depends on what you want.
Apart from they can go back in time.
I think you have to compare Avengers.
Well, you had ghosts come out of nowhere, so it's not like they were.
True.
There's lots of random things that happen in this film as well.
Yeah, but none of it's going back in time and cheating. And then, none of them say, "Oh, basically, don't worry about this in the plot. It's fine," as they do in Avengers, when they're like, "But if we go back and then we get killed, but then that happens," and they're like, "No, don't worry about it. It's just a plot device."
Yeah, but
I feel like Avengers Endgame is very similar in ways to this. And then you have huge epic battles. You try to have to wrap up the whole story, and you have a lot of slow moments because of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very similar.
Yeah, Marvel have almost taken the sort of they basically have 3-4 scenes, and then the rest of it is just like almost filler, isn't it? It's almost like sort of a mixtape.
Yeah.
But
A couple of one-liners.
Bad one that Andy made.
Yeah.
From his films.
It's not on the list. But that's where would you put it in your like epic films, which are dominated by Marvel?
It's not going to be on the epic films list.
So I obviously really enjoyed it. So I thought the epic fights were awesome, and I for a 4-hour film, it didn't feel that long. I mean, the ending, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, there were some bits that I was a bit like, but yeah, it kept me gripped the whole time. Whereas with the second one, the Two Towers, I probably didn't care until the second half of the film. Whereas this one, like, it started with Gollum's backstory, which was fairly interesting, but that wasn't too long. And I enjoyed all of it. I wouldn't have gone into as much detail as Andy did, but I enjoyed all of the
Welcome
scenes.
to our world.
I mean, I have got 3 pages of notes of different things that did bother me, but
go on then.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Just for Woody,
Let's get into it.
why did you find it underwhelming with all those epic fights?
So basically, I've heard it's an amazing film, and it just didn't live up to the expectations I had.
Just too much
So
high
it might not be a big
Fault.
thing on the film's fault, But
Maybe you shouldn't come for the last.
It's just meant to be an amazing film that just didn't hit the benchmarks that I thought it would.
Sold it too hard, Andy.
What films would you still put above it? Like from an epic, like all of
How long the list that you want?
or like
Not Black Panther 2. That is horrific.
We just watched Uncharted. Surely it's got to be above that.
Yeah.
No.
But not in the top 10 epic epic films.
No.
But you've given it the big sell, and it's still only whatever it is on the list. Like at the
18.
current standard, obviously, we don't want to spoil.
Yeah, no spoilers.
If we end it here and then carry on for the next half hour like the film does.
Come on, then. Yeah, we'll go into the endings then.
Into the endings.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah, we put our coat on a few times.
Ooh.
What did I? Well, first of all, I think we need to point out how we've watched 3 films of them walking to Mount Doom, and they just got back to the Shire within what felt like 2 seconds.
They went the long way there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to.
And I also wrote down that Sam got married quicker than the entire. I know there's a bit of a jump, but he just seems to get married within an instant.
They already had a relationship in the first one.
He didn't talk to her. He just.
He's just got the got the gift of the gab.
I feel like we needed 3 films of that walk back. I'm sure stuff happened on that. It kind of been there's a lot to talk about, surely.
At the end of a night when you're just like, I just want to be home. maybe that was it. I do, but I think like it's interesting. This time it kind of felt a bit like Star Wars, where almost because of the ending, it does become much more about Sam than Frodo, because for me it's like they've come back from war and Frodo sort of still has the scars and still almost can't he can't get over what's happened to him, whereas Sam can and then sort of goes on with his life. And then because they end at the very ending with him, it's a bit like sort of Star Wars now being about Anakin rather than being about Luke. You kind of like, okay, actually in a way is Sam the hero of the...
Yes.
I have a note that specifically says Sam is without doubt the hero. Frodo didn't do anything.
I've watched this.
He became the villain
35 times, and this is the first time that I really thought about that. So obviously you guys got it straight away.
Oh, yeah. Sam carried him up that volcano, and then Frodo decided at the end, I've got the energy. Sam killed the spider. Didn't technically save, he left him for dead, but he took the ring. And Frodo treated him awfully the whole time.
Yeah.
Over Gollum, who I don't see how he didn't from the start question, this creature who's actively done a few questionable things. No, I'll trust him more than Sam, who's done everything for me.
Yeah. Well, that's the ring. It's the ring.
And I had to ask Dad. I didn't understand what Sam was doing. Not Sam. Frodo was doing. I was like, why is he getting on his boat with Gandalf? They just they're like, oh yeah, I've got to go. Where are you going? They didn't really explain that.
Yeah.
So I didn't need that. They could have just ended it with Sam got married, all happy. Let's go on.
Yeah, I think the going on the boats, I think, is sort of for the purists. You've got to have that in.
Is that an extra scene?
Which I don't know. Which did you watch the extended version? Did you not see them get on the boat?
No, I saw the extended version and saw the boat.
Yeah, I think that was in the original. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure which bits of the ending, because there are a couple of endings, but I think like the boats,
There are. Quite a few.
the boats are very much part of the book. So I think you've got to kind of have that. There would have been uproar.
And the irony is, there's like 6 different endings, and actually at the end, we still had to do what actually ended, and talk about the land of men. So
yeah. No, I mean, the ending is There's obviously there's a lot of
too long.
Yeah, but I do think, but you do need a bit after it. I think you do need them going back, and obviously that's the big difference with the books, is that when they go back to the Shire in the books, Saruman and Wormtongue have basically taken over and have sort of brought war to the Shire, and then they defeat him. But I do think you do need the after effect. I do think that is part of it. Again, it's like you fight in the war and you have the war, but then what happens afterwards? And like, are you corrupted by it? Are you can you then live your life afterwards? I think that's where, for me, like, you do need that now. Obviously, like, do you need 5 of them? Probably not, for 45 minutes. But do you think you do need that difference where you're actually getting back after the fight? Because otherwise, where would you say it should have ended?
They could have just once they got to the Shire. I feel like leaving it, because the first joke of putting on the coat came when the Eagles picked them up and it kind of fades to black. I do think you need the bit after that to be like, oh, they go back to the Shire, they're all happy, just for your basic audience who like a nice happy ending. But then it's fine. I don't think you even need to say that Sam got married. You can just the scene where they all come in to see Frodo. You could probably just end it there to be like, they survived, they all got back together. This is actually the Fellowship, which we have seen none of, despite them making it in movie 1 and calling a movie for it, and we saw none of that Fellowship.
I thought it was really funny though when they're coming in, because Frodo's sort of waking up, and like Merry and Pippin coming in, he's like, oh, Merry and Pippin, and then Aragorn, he's like, oh, Aragorn, and then Legolas walks in and he's like, and then Gimli walks in, he's like, Gimli, and you're like, oh, Frodo doesn't like Legolas for some reason. He doesn't actually seem that bothered that Legolas is there. He's just like,
I think they could have ended on the Star Wars medal scene that they did. That was good. When they all got the medal. And
no one, you bow to no one. Yeah, but that's the thing. I like the fact that it is the aftermath, and it is the effects of war, because I think that is part of it. Is like for me, it's part of the whole thing is like they won't use the ring against Sauron, and Sauron is absolutely convinced that they will try and use the ring because it is the power, and it's like, do you kind of almost meet evil with evil and try and destroy it, or do you go another way? And I think that's kind of thing is it's like, okay, well, after all of this has happened, they do go back and resume their lives, and so. Like, you could wrap it up quicker, but for me, I think it's. But I still think it's. Yeah, I still.
Speaking of.
I mean, it's a 4-hour movie, Kev. We have to go through everything. So.
This is only part 1 of the part 2 bit.
Yeah.
The extended...
Again, you can just skip to episode 3.
The extended edition of this podcast will be 7.5 hours.
Director's cut.
Yeah. So, we had some old school research going into explaining the film in 30 words or less to aliens, because we didn't maybe prompt people that we don't do that anymore. So we have a couple of those.
Do you have one as well?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first or me?
I didn't, because actually I listened to the podcast, so I know that you haven't done it since like 72.
I've been busy.
Right, Woody, go first.
I've got 3 small people go on a hike while friends fight in a war. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I put small man extorts his granddad's gardener into carrying up a volcano while a big eye tries to take over a city.
Nice. I mean, that's I don't
very
think
accurate.
The aliens 3.5 hours in are going to be like, I feel like I was misled.
That just seemed like the basic plot. Oh, Dad has one.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
No, I didn't.
You
bother.
look like you were going to.
Yeah.
Did we
On the fly? Can I just make one up?
30 words? Well, no.
Yeah.
Was there anything that dated it for you? Like, Kev, you sort of saying that a lot of the graphics sort of hold up. I feel like the graphics actually held up a lot better in this one actually than the other two. Even.
I think the spider looked good compared to compared to films nowadays. The spider really held up. The elephant, it was okay. The Legolas fight on the elephant was the best part of the film.
Yeah, thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think the elephant could have been slightly better, but other than that, it's all good.
Yeah.
I feel like the ghost could have been better. They were okay.
And sort of the swarm of them are that like, then it's a green fog for some of it, isn't it?
They gave one of the best lines though, of the you and what army? And this army.
I didn't understand that bit.
So like it was an army
of ghosts. So they appeared out of nowhere.
No, the fact is that the orcs had commissioned some pirates to get on a boat.
Yeah.
Four pirates.
Huh?
There was only 4 boats. I'm not sure how much they
I
were
know.
going to.
There wasn't. Yeah, I'd agree that, but
Yeah.
it just seemed weird that. And these pirates, I thought, we want to go in. We want to go and be pals of those orcs because they're well known for being.
Yeah, well, they were going to
honest.
get like paid for it or something. They made a deal.
Orcs always
how it
stand by
always
the
goes.
deal.
Well, no, but it
They
is
shook
the-
hands and everything.
And so the pirates. What are you trying to say?
But it is the fact that there are men on Sauron's side,
Well,
like the same on the Oliphant.
I think it's definitely not needed. It's just a shoehorn getting the boats there. But then you see most of the dead army actually hover on the water at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not sure they
So-
needed to go on the boat.
yeah, I don't think it was needed.
Yeah, well, you've got to get them there somehow, I guess.
And also,
Yeah, you had to get Aragon and that there.
also, they obviously were like, oh, well, we've done your thing now, and Aragorn's like, yep, we don't need you anymore. And then they go into another war where the Ghost Army would have been quite useful, actually,
Wow.
I think.
Oh, Gimli.
And they
over
knew
there.
that they were going to do that, I feel like.
Well, he's got to stay to his word.
No.
I did wonder how Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn got on the boats, because obviously the army go over and kill everyone on the boats, but then they would have still had to have caught up with the boats. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would have happened. The only thing I thought wouldn't happen now is probably the beacons, because someone would be on their phone and they wouldn't notice the beacon
true.
on the
Well,
being
no, that was
lit,
quite a cool scene.
and all of a
I'll
sudden,
give you that. That was a cool
yeah,
scene.
so that was good. I feel like I've said all the questions that it's answered for me. Mostly, is this one of the best films ever made? You
What's
guys,
the
is there? Yes, yes, it is.
Just had to look at that.
One word.
Any other questions that you found it asked or answered?
The main, well, for me, was the final ending of them getting on the boat. And that still didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know where they were going. That was my question.
I thought it reminded me, always wear your Fitbit before you go on an adventure with an old man, because you want to count how many steps you just did.
It would have been a lot.
And the emergency beacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I did think, well, as far as motivation's concerned, obviously when they get captured by the orcs to kind of, and they have to march with people, and there's that one who's sort of whipping them all and telling them to get to the front. And I wondered whether all of the different people, all of the different teachers that we've seen across all the films, whether they're going to be in the good side or the bad side. I think Fletcher from Whiplash, as an example, I think he would have been quite good in the Orc army. I think he would have.
He would definitely be on the bad side.
He would have definitely got them up. I don't know. I think Robin Williams in Dead Poets. I'm not sure whether he would have actually got any of the Gondor people out, but yeah.
But it doesn't work like as in Sam and Frodo, because they're so much smaller than the orcs, and the orcs are like, well, that's all right. We'll just let him.
Yeah.
Let these two weird people walk with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not needed either, right?
No.
I don't think it happens.
Delete that scene.
Huh?
I don't think it happens in the book.
No, probably
Funnily
not.
enough.
Yeah.
I think they sneak in. They're just trying to make the Frodo and Sam bit a bit more interesting. They're like, look, everyone's going to hate the
Failed.
Frodo and Sam bit.
They tried, but
Did you watch on 1.
Sam should have killed Frodo. That would have been much better.
Yeah, that's true. Did you watch on 1.2 times, Kev? Did you speed up a little
I
bit?
did watch on 1.2, and about 40 minutes in, I thought the music sounds so weird. I don't know what's going on. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's a bit too fast. So I pulled it back down.
But they were still walking. They weren't even running at 1.2. They were still walking.
Oh no. Yeah, Frodo and Sam are still very dull at 1.2.
This Enya songs, it's a lot more poppy than I remember it being. Keanu in as the entire fellowship.
I don't think
Kev,
so.
do you think no?
I just don't think he would fit in this. Either Stone and Gosling either. I just don't see any of them fit into this sort of. Yeah. I don't know. I guess he could have possibly been Aragon.
No, it's Swayze for Aragorn all day long. That was the only one. Aragorn
true.
just flirts with everyone in this film.
Yeah,
Even
what's
like
the love triangle about?
The horses.
Like, why did they let that in?
The King of the Dead, I'm fairly sure, is eyeing him up at one stage. And yeah, the whole Arwen bit is It's like, if you lose, then she's going to die. You're like, I think the stakes are high enough. I don't think we need to introduce that his girlfriend's going to die as well. Actually, the entire world is going to be overtaken by evil. That should be motivating enough. But I think Swayze.
Yeah, it was bizarre, wasn't it? And why did they introduce the other bit with that woman as well? Like, I don't think that's needed.
Yeah. Well, and also I feel like they edit that really badly in, because in the extended you see her and Faramir sort of getting closer, and then the next scene is Pippin finding Merry out on the battlefield. But like, it seems like there's been sort of days that have passed in the healing house, but then Pippin's done. So actually, that scene is cut really weirdly into the movie. And yeah, that is part of the extended. And it's a bit like, oh well, Aragorn turned her down, but you know, it's important that she still finds someone. So, I mean, dare I say it, I don't think you needed the romance bits in this film.
Wow.
We've waited how many episodes?
Especially between Frodo and Sam. We didn't need that romance, those little looks.
Yeah.
On that, though, sort of like the deep fake. So the boys won't understand this, but in the old days, they used to do sort of like have bands who came in. So I reckon the Monkeys could have come in and been the Fellowship.
Comedy.
Yeah, I think it works.
They could have been the Hobbits, I think. Especially Mickey. I think he would have. I think Davy was as small as Hobbit. So with all three films behind us then, which
finally, what a day that was.
Which character are you claiming for the?
Oh, from all three films.
Well, I mean, from this one, but
well, from this one,
Legolas.
You went Legolas. I think no, I feel like you said that for the last year as well. I feel like you've been consistent.
It was Sam at the first.
Okay. But
as cool as he was,
that seems a bit much effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
From this,
Don't like walking.
Yeah. gotta carry someone as well. Whoever picks Frodo, you're carrying them. I picked for this film. I think it was Pippin, because I was like, I would have touched the orb as well. What's he hiding from me? I would have. I thought, I'm just that inquisitive.
I hope you have a better friend than Merry, because it seems like that the orb is burning him for a long time before Merry's like, do you think I should wake someone up? Yeah. He's just like screaming in pain. He's like, Gandalf?
This is like one of his pranks.
This has been going on for about 5 minutes now. I think he could have been a bit sooner. Well, obviously you've got the same singing voice as Pippin, as we found out last week.
Oh wow! Want to give us a little bit more?
No, yeah.
It was very impressive.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah. Not as good as your costume, Kev, but
that's just what I wear in Australia normally.
same heat.
So bear with me on this. So Gollum.
I see it actually.
So funny enough,
Not even Smeagol.
well, no. So funny enough, obviously it's a bit of a trek up for us to come up to the shop. And like trying to get sort of like old Frodo and Sam get them out of the house, get them. I felt like with Gollum, he was like, "Come on, no, I want breakfast. No, there's no time for that. There's an evil spirit trying to kill us. No, I want to rest up. No, get your ass going and get up and go." So actually, I think,
and he was weirdly obsessed with me on my phone. He didn't want to hear from me.
Yeah. So I think it gets a bad name.
Yeah. All he's trying to do is get them.
Yeah, he's just
get
trying
them into Mordor and the fat little hobbits.
I'm not sure they would have got anywhere near it.
Threw my bread down the cliff.
And so, should have seen what Fred said about you, Woods. That's why I'm the favourite.
Hairstyle is quite similar as well. Well, what about you, Kev? Who did you come in as?
I went for the old hobbit at the end, who's not impressed that Frodo's come back at all. He just continues sweeping his front yard.
Just gives him the bad look.
Yeah, just like, oh, you're back.
Right. Knew he was a wrong un.
Yeah, could have done this about like 3 months ago.
Nice.
Go on,
Nice.
Andy.
What about you, Andy?
Well, so there's a when Arwen's going to leave, there's an elf that says like, oh come on, we've got to go, and she just turns round and rides off. And I thought everyone was just like, oh, what did he say to Arwen? she was supposed to leave, and then you said something, and he's like, no, we had to go because otherwise the boats are gonna go. I just feel like I feel like that guy. I'm just like, I didn't say anything. She just left.
Oh, we won't delve into this too deep.
Smeagol. I thought at the start you find the ring, look at your best friend. Stabbed.
Well, it's funny. Freddie always used to be like that on Woody's birthday as well when they were little. And Woody was getting presents. And then no, give it to me. It's my birthday.
Let me open
I'll
it.
look after it.
Well, funnily enough, I thought that you get very Smeagol when you're in escape rooms, Kev, where you're just like, come on, let's go this way. No, you're doing it wrong. We need to go up here.
I mean, if people aren't going to pay proper attention, why are we there?
Favorite lines?
It was the you and what army, and then this army.
That's cool,
Yeah,
especially as it comes through him as well. I think that's
Also,
I think that's an extended bit.
Really?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that was in the original one.
the line of the whole scene.
Yeah,
The
I think the line. I don't think you see. Because I think before you don't actually see that they are coming with them, and then you just see the three of them jump off the boats, and then the army come through. I don't think you actually know whether they've been successful. I think it ends on like what say you, and then you don't see them again.
Are you telling me, Andy, you didn't watch both the unextended and the extended?
And the DVD extras. I've just done nothing. It's been very quiet in the shop.
Director's cut. I've written. I quite liked when Merry and Pippin are separating, and I think Merry's watching from the wall. He goes, "I was always there, getting him into the worst of trouble and to get him out." And I just thought, that's just me and Woody. I liked. There was a bit. Sam says to Frodo, he's like, "He's poisoned you against me." And I was like, that's what Anakin says to Padme. It's about when Obi-Wan's on the ship. I was like, it's like Star Wars.
It's almost like everything's copied this film.
And then when Legolas kills the elephant, Gimli goes, "That still only counts as one." I thought, they're still keeping a tally.
Yeah, that's a good one. But they don't. You don't hear them counting as much, so you don't know what you don't.
No.
They're like 7, 8. You're like, yeah.
And
So we don't have the same.
There was one
problem.
other scene that I wrote down where one of them goes, I can't remember who says, but one says, "Dying side." Oh, Legolas and Gimli are saying, and they say, "Dying side by side with a friend." And me and Woody were like, "Didn't they say that in the last film?" We're pretty sure that was word for word.
Yeah,
So,
well, I think they're gonna fight. Yeah, I think he says, "I never thought I'd."
so that's not a favourite line, but we thought we'd mention that. That line was definitely repeated.
Well, but I think at the Helm's
Here we
Deep.
go.
At Helm's
I'm gonna
Deep,
go
he
get a
says-
drink.
Find in the second film, 45 minutes and 13 seconds in.
I think in the second one, he says, "I never thought I'd be fighting by the side of an elf," and he says, "What about fighting with a friend?" And in this one, he says, "I never thought I'd die."
Oh,
So
I
it
guess I'm wrong.
Shows like, well, but that's the thing. It shows like
Do you feel
they think that
annoying being right?
Smeagol.
Yeah, here he is again.
Shall we all walk
Smeagol
out
thing
now?
to say.
What I didn't say anything.
You see, I'm like
What were
that
your
elf.
favourite lines? Actually, that's not a line.
I think it's a really good line.
Well, Andy's favourite line is, and he'll just recite the entire film.
Any
What
from
was
you,
yours
Rob?
then, Andy?
Right, no, you
Oh,
go.
well,
Andy's got quite a
yeah.
few, so.
Well, yeah, let me start. So no, actually, I didn't have a favourite lines. I liked the sort of the elephant one, but there was one line about the pod when they said, "You will suffer me." I thought, oh, that's a pod banner.
We're just not invite him
90%
back.
of podcasters.
Why do we invite him down to the shop?
Top 1%, just got to remind you.
So yeah, I thought there's a couple. Saruman gets in a couple of good insults. when he says, "What is the house of Rohan but a thatched barn where brigands drink in the reek and rats roll on the floor with the dogs?" I thought that's a good insult coming down.
Sounds good.
And then obviously
Sounds like Walkabout.
he comes.
Sponsored by Spoons.
Yeah.
And then Theoden actually comes back with, "When you hang from a gibbet for the sport of your own crows, then we will have peace." You're like, yeah, okay, that's quite a good one. I think that when I think it's Pippin, he says, "I don't want to be in a battle, but being on the edge of one I can't escape is worse." I think that's a good line.
Yeah.
I think when it's quite funny. He says, "Courage is your best defense now." I was a bit like, I wish if I was there, I'd be like, I wish it said like swords. It was gonna be my best defense.
That was my line for the pod. It's the only defence left.
Courage, Kev. There's only 17 more left.
You'll get there.
And then I thought the other one was, "We forgot the taste of bread," and I thought, well, even like sourdough, it's just terrible these days. And one of the lines that we use, we do actually, me and Tiff say when she says, "I know your face." If I've been away or we've been travelling, then we do actually use that when we get back together.
Nice.
My line describing the podcast, I mean, it's not really describing the podcast, but I presume, Rob, this is what you use in your birthday cards to the boys. Your lesser sons of greater size.
Yeah.
I just presume that would be what you'd have.
Yeah. It's going all the way round tonight.
Yeah.
Any others for you, Kev?
The carriage one was good. The only other one I had was they're talking about one of the hobbits, and they say, "I do not doubt his heart, only the reach of his arm."
Yeah, and his mate laughs really like, "Oh, good one," and you're just like,
Another short joke.
I'd have laughed.
another short joke. Like, I haven't heard that before. So no 3-star reviews.
No?
No.
Wow.
Five
Okay.
stars, or 3 people bought the wrong edition, so gave it 1 star. But
wow, okay.
that's it. So yeah, no 5
Straight
stars.
on then.
It's very, very well reviewed. So I mean, it's the extended edition, 4 hours 10 minutes. So I feel like it's an ask for double feature. but what if you had to do a double feature?
Well, I had one, the same sort of thing. Journey against all odds, incredible journey. But Andrew, there's a dog.
How did you even think of that, Rob?
Yeah, there's an old dog, a young dog, and a cat. How like?
That's
I'm
good.
tearing up thinking about it.
For a
The
second.
odds against a man.
For a second, I thought you were going to say the Liverpool European Cup in Istanbul. So that was good. It's against the odds.
I thought I just wanted to pick up the pace a bit, so I just picked Maze Runner because they just run that entire film. So rather than watching people walk, I'll just watch people run.
Nice.
I've gone more with the Song of 1,000 Miles, just because it's a nice and short thing rather than it's a nice summary, I'd say.
The Proclaimers helps everything, doesn't it?
Just after the film as well, just to listen to it and be like, he did walk.
Yeah.
Kev, what did you go for?
Well, I had, in a real proper double feature, you would have to get a cushion or something to avoid the piles. I would say Avengers Endgame. And I thought, because then you could see how much from Lord of the Rings has been taken to put into the Avengers universe. Not that they've not changed it and amended it and added to it, but I think a lot of the big battles and things were really. This was like the first franchise to do that.
Yeah, it'd be certainly a day. Although I've watched,
It would be a lot.
I've watched all 3 of the extended editions in a day, so it's still less than that.
Doesn't show. You barely talked about it.
Feels like we were sitting there with you, the way you described it.
Feels like this pod's been all day.
What about you, Andy?
Well, I thought about like a reverse extended edition of the film actually, and you cut out all of the Sam and Frodo bits, and you just
Oh,
have
nice.
Aragorn. So
So you watched the film twice, though.
Yeah, you just go back and just watch the best bits, and you're like, oh yeah, that would have.
Why can't I have done that the
been
first
good.
time?
Well, you've got
You
the
were
context.
walking on that with Peter Jackson?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
we'll get that edited out soon. We'll have to talk to Amazon, but they'll be sponsoring the pod soon, so it'll be fine.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
especially in Australia, where we know a guy.
Yeah.
Um,
We are big fans of Prime Video. Lots of great content.
well, we'll be able to get the new sponsorship head to throw us some money. So the algo then, Kev, what did you have? I
Well,
presume that
obviously you have to have Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but you kind of
you know what I briefed.
don't count them.
Yeah, I briefed the AI to say no other Tolkien movies or Harry Potter,
Yeah.
because I was like,
because you hate Harry Potter so much.
yeah,
Such a hater.
just to avoid
Um,
the automatic disqualification for saying Harry Potter.
Okay. Well, I went for the new Dungeons and Dragons film and Dune 2.
Okay.
Big films.
Have you got a third one that you're not going to say because you think that's going to ruin
Not
your
this
chances
week,
of winning?
no.
Okay. What do you guys have?
I couldn't think. I put. The
There's
Hobbit.
no other film like this. Oh, you
No,
really
there's-
did like this film.
Well, it's just
Epic.
there was also the obvious ones, which is the other Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and stuff. Yeah, no. I
Meg
think
2?
Beekeeper's quite epic in its way.
Yeah, I guess I agree with Kevin.
Big battle
I see
scenes.
that Avengers Endgame, which I do really like, is very clear now
Yeah.
because I hadn't watched this. So when Star Wars Episode 9 came out and they did the big ship thing, I was like, that's just stolen from Avengers Endgame. And now I watch Lord of the Rings, I'm like, this was the original.
Yeah.
Then you watch Ben-Hur.
So,
So,
yeah.
like, oh, they just don't live.
Yeah, I'll just go with Avengers Endgame. But I think Dungeons and Dragons is a good shout as well. That's quite similar.
I haven't seen that yet. I presume the little
it's good.
guys.
It's just as good.
Is it as good as the cartoon, Kev? Do you think?
It's actually quite funny. They get the humour level right.
As
Is
they
it
did in
Andy
this.
funny or?
Well,
I mean, that's a
there
high
is some
bar.
romance, so you'll be okay.
Woods, did you have a?
Well, I wanted to try and think of a film that Frodo's in, but actually don't know any other film that his actor's in. So
He's not been in a lot
Yeah.
of other ones.
Sin City's in one. I
could always say Goonies just because of
yes,
Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That would be good.
So, yeah, I mean,
Nice, like relief afterwards.
I mean, well, it's quite like the Goonies in a way. You still got
Yeah.
they're travelling. They got the map.
They
It's,
walk.
Yeah.
Ships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
And
thought
Orc.
so. Yeah, you chuck in Warcraft, and they're also quite similar, aren't they? Really.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, yeah, the Algo actually went for a bit of that, but chose Gladiator for a sword and sand one. Pan's Labyrinth for the sort of bit of a darker take on like creatures and stuff.
Nothing like it.
Braveheart, which I thought was an interesting one.
Yeah, I could see that.
Maybe do that.
And then The Green Knight, which I didn't think.
What's that?
Oh, it's the recent one with is it Dev Patel? He's in it. But it's all about it's all about sort of him fulfilling his destiny. But it's it's super slow.
enough.
I thought it was quite. There's no battles in it. So
Yeah.
so which ones did you say, Kevin? I completely forgot.
I said the new Dungeons and Dragons film and Dune 2.
Okay.
Big world.
Yeah. And how goes Braveheart, Gladiator? I don't know. It feels a bit
Gladiator, no.
I'm
I'll
not
give you Braveheart.
Yeah, I'll get Pan's Labyrinth is a stretch.
and Green Knight. Maybe you win by default. That's always the best way to
No, I
win.
just win with better answers.
So there we go. One more for you.
Here we go then. So it's number 18. It sounds like you enjoyed it a lot. I mean, you've come dressed up today, unnecessary but great.
Well, we've got the video today, so it's one of the only times that we'll know that that's not true.
So it's number 18. Where's it going?
Yeah, I'm moving it up to 10.
Oh,
To 10.
Wow.
That's a big jump.
It's,
Bombshells.
I'm sure every listener
Yeah.
listening has just had that same reaction. People on the
Wow.
tube, on flights,
People have just stopped.
walking around. Everyone has. No,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, no, I think I really, really enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more comparatively than the other two. Which I kind of coming into this. The other two had been good, but I think they do have their pacing issues. But like, yeah, this just really held up for me. I really enjoyed it. I think there's a lot going on. I think there's like loads of themes. The battles are when the horses sort of break the line in the Pelennor Field battle. I just think it's it's awesome. So
what was 10?
I don't know. We don't.
Oh yeah, we can't. Yeah, sorry.
We'll get there. Don't worry. You might not be invited back, but
we'll get
Courage
there.
is the best defence. Rob.
It might be a bit of a
Just
walk.
remember
It might feel like the volcano's exploding, but we'll get there eventually.
it might be 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
but
the Eagles will pick us up, and we'll be. What was the point of that 9 hours?
Yeah.
You can't just rely on the Eagles. They're just they're creatures very unreliable. How about you then? You kind of you enjoyed the film more than you've enjoyed the pod. So I don't know if the film's going to suffer for
It's
that.
like every film. I had it as number 14,
Okay.
so firmly in the good section. Just below Labyrinth and just above Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty high.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Maybe another good comparison.
Labyrinth is such a good film.
Lots of walking in that as well. Nice. Anything? Because it was 4.5 hours that you guys had to watch. Any notes that you didn't get to? I don't want to have wasted your note taking or anything. Anything you want to add in at the end?
I've got the fact that a woman did something in this film.
Yeah.
She did very well.
That complaint or is that a praise?
No,
Expand that.
I'm happy with that.
There's actually
Wow.
She does say
a
very
female
These
dog.
youngsters.
I know, when the news of the world get that soundbite, it'll be all over.
I remember we were watching though because she obviously does that, and then we see her as the dad, the king dies. And then it cuts to her being, and we're like, she died, and then she didn't die. But I thought that was a really random, just twist that didn't really need to be done. It was quite pointless.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
just to make Aragorn not look so bad that like she gets a boyfriend. His wife turns up even though he's been
which
flirting with
actually
her
when we watched,
the whole
because
way
Woody
through.
pointed out, Dad said that Faramir was her brother, and we were all like, why are they so close? So yeah, when you started saying about that, we were a bit like, maybe they were dating. I did like Faramir in this movie. I think he does really well. He obviously dies and then doesn't die, but I quite liked him in this movie.
You identified more with Faramir than Boromir, even though you're the
I think he was
oldest.
better than
It's,
Boromir.
it's
I think
interesting.
he did. I think it was good.
Yeah.
I liked the whole arc. His dad was just an absolute arse.
Yeah.
You lose your favourite son.
Yeah. And you just eat your meal as your other son rides to his death.
Yeah.
He
He influences the soldiers very much. He's like, it's all over, flee, and all of the soldiers start running away, and then Gandalf's like, no, to your post, and they're like, oh, all right, and then they run back.
I think I did. Yeah, I put. So yeah, just some old dude just rocks up and knocks your king out, and then says, "Do what I tell you," and they're all like, "All right."
And look how white his robes are. So-
Yeah. But yeah, so I actually really like Faramir in this movie. I think he did really well actually. Good.
Them being gone for 13 months was very surprising to me.
It felt longer.
It's just, it wasn't covered that it was 13 months or 5 months, 6 months either way.
Yeah, 30 months to the day.
Yeah, that's just, what were they doing?
Walking.
No, it didn't seem like that.
A lot of walking.
Now all of a sudden it seems like that actually they didn't show us as much walking as they had been. So
There's still too much. Way too much.
there could have been more. The real time director's cut has like 4 days just of walking.
I also can we just focus? Frodo is an awful character. The entire film, I hated him. All 3 films,
Yeah.
but this film, he just they're obviously climbing. He has no upper body strength to pull himself off that.
What?
He does. No.
Start going down the gym all of a sudden.
You're
you've
gonna
got-
start-
Pay for your video today. I'll do a
Pointing
pull-up.
at the video camera.
I'll do a pull up on camera right now. But because he can't lift himself, so I think it's Gollum has to help him because it like does the whole, oh, is Gollum going to knock him off?
Oh yeah, when he's
And then they
climbing.
just
Yeah,
let
that's
Sam
right,
sort
yeah.
himself out. 'Cause- but like just the entire film, Frodo's against Sam, backing Gollum, who obviously as viewers we know is evil. But I you can't convince me that you're looking at him and thinking he's got my best interest in heart.
Yeah.
He as soon as we met him, he went for the ring. I look at Woody
think
and I
your
think
point
I know
was
he's
good.
evil.
No, dude.
Yeah. I think your point was good, Rob. If they'd have started turning him into sort of Gollum, you would have seen that it's like the dark side of the ring coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start losing
they
his
didn't.
hair a bit. Getting,
I mean, yeah, right at the end of the mountain, I was like, oh, he's going to put the ring on. He's going to put the because it's too easy. Otherwise, they have to. Oh, he just chucks in, and we're done.
Did you think that he was dead though?
I hoped he was dead. I think the better ending, as much as I like Sam,
Yeah.
I think Sam should have been like
Frodo.
Frodo's gone, tackle him, kill both of them. I think that would have been a really poignant ending, actually.
Chuck
And took the
Frodo
ring and ran off.
with the ring into the lava.
No, tackle Frodo and just sacrifice himself because he's like, I can't get the ring off
No.
Frodo. Tackle him, or maybe if Gollum does come in, I think that would have been a more poignant ending. It would have been sad because
Yeah.
I think Sam is
The main character.
the best character.
main character.
He's so good. He carries Frodo up that,
Yeah.
that volcano.
But when he gets stabbed from the spider,
What,
did
Frodo?
did you think that he was dead then?
No, it was no. I was like, it's not. There's no
I
way.
almost celebrated.
I was certain that he was just clearly paralysed. I think I did right now. I quite liked when Sam. I can't remember exactly how it happens now, but he reappears. It's like Frodo's about to die fully or whatever, and Sam appears.
Yeah.
And I did
Get
think,
back from him, you.
yeah, and I think I wrote a note that actually I really liked that scene, and I was like, it's quite like to me, maybe not to Woody, that when in Avengers Endgame the Falcon comes on the intercom, it's like on your left cap. I was like, I would equivalent it to that because I was like, phew, Sam's here. As much as I hate Frodo, like Sam's here. But yeah, that volcano scene, I think my ending would have been Sam decides he's got to do this.
Sacrifices
Frodo's
himself.
gone. He's got to sacrifice both
Tackles
of them.
Frodo.
Okay. Well, we'll.
But
good.
Gollum got to die instead, which is I'm not sure is better.
I think it
because
was good for Gollum to die. He'd spent however long his life was.
I wasn't sure the ring was going to
With the
burn for a
ring.
moment.
Yeah.
But that's also and
Symbolic.
like right from the start is like Gandalf says, well, he feels that Gollum's got a role to play in the future.
I did enjoy Gollum's backstory at the start, although I don't think that fish was big enough to
Yeah.
to pull.
Now, funnily enough, throughout the entire film, the only time Tiff went ew was when he was holding the little worm, and like you think how much other blood and guts there are in the movie, and it's just that bit that she thought was gross. Well, we'll send an email to the estate of J.R.R.
That's
Tolkien to explain to them that they should change.
If I'd written it, that's what I would have changed. I did like the design of the Gondor city as well. Actually, when
Yeah.
that came on screen, I thought that's quite good. Actually,
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Anything else?
I was a bit upset that they did when they entered the realm of Gondor that they didn't have a little sign like you do when you enter a new county or on the road. Gondor,
300 people live here.
twinned with
we did have that issue because they called
Alderaan.
they called it Gondor and then they called it something else, and I was like, where are they? I can't remember what they called it. It was like Dad was like, well, one's the county name and one's the
Yeah,
city.
Minas
Minas
Tirith.
Tirith and
Minas
then-
Tirith is the city,
Yeah.
and
That was confusing to me. I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Well, when we leave the shop, we can go back and we can look at some maps in the books. That'll be that'll be good.
I'm returning the DVD. And I'm not picking the DVD back up.
Sorry, I've got to leave early today. Yeah, I'll have to miss out now.
Well, Daniel
What do you just ran through the wall? I don't know what that's all about. Awesome. Well, there we go. An epic for an epic. We're going to have to edit this down somehow. But no, there we go. That's
Number 10.
Time to disband
number
the
10.
fellowship.
Yeah, we can disband this fellowship.
Lasted longer than the real one.
It was only 2 people the whole time.
That happened 50 episodes ago.
I'm off on the boat. I'm done.
You can just be dismissed now. You can just
See yourself out.
go to your ease, as the Army of the Dead were. For next week, is it the invention of podcasting? Literally just the quote, "Talk hard," and that's going to be epic to see. Whether you remember it and whether you think that it's podcasting. Thanks to Tom Miller for the theme song as ever. And I don't think we need another ending. Maybe.